Hi everyone, and welcome to this training series on Oracle SQL. In this video, let me give you a quick overview of what we will be covering throughout the session. This will help you stay aligned and make the most of your learning journey. So, if you are new to databases or if you are just looking to sharpen your SQL skills, then you are in the right place. So let me quickly take you to the core topics that we will be covering in this series. As you can see here, it's divided into three core sections, each designed to build your understanding step by step. In the first section, we will get introduced to Oracle SQL, that is, what it is, how it works, and why it is the go-to language for working with databases. We'll also look at the Oracle's version of SQL and how it is used in industries. So don't worry if you are new to this, we'll keep it simple and practical with the relatable examples. Next, we will dive a bit deeper into how the Oracle SQL works behind the scenes. So this section will be all about the architecture. Here we will explore how the SQL queries are processed by Oracle from parsing and execution to the memory management. So whether you are planning a career in data development or just want to automate your work better, this series is going to be very useful for you. The next section is about core SQL operations. Structured query language is the standard language used to interact with the relational databases. So here in this section, we'll be discussing about all the various SQL commands like the DDLs, the DCLs, the DMLs, and the TCLs. We'll discuss in depth the basic queries as well as the advanced queries. So majorly, we'll be focusing more on the third section in this video series. All right, let's jump right into the first section. Let's look at what Oracle SQL actually is and why it is such a vital skill for anyone who is working with the databases. So, first, what exactly is Oracle SQL? So, Oracle SQL is a version of SQL, the structured query language, specifically used to interact with the Oracle databases. So, it helps us to store, to retrieve, update, and manage data in an efficient and secure way. So, in short, we can say that Oracle SQL allows us to work with the data, to query it, to update it, and manage it directly within Oracle's powerful database environment. Now, what makes Oracle SQL stand out? So here, Oracle SQL comes with the full set of features to handle everything from simple queries to complex business logic. Some of the key features included here are the data manipulation capabilities like inserting, updating, and deleting the records, powerful query optimization so that large data sets are processed efficiently. Then we have the transaction control capabilities, meaning that you can group operations and ensure that they either fully succeed or fail together. Here also we have the strong support for the complex data types like JSON, XML, or even the custom objects, which helps in the modern app development. And all of this boosts the performance, security, and the reliability of your database operations. So if you're planning to work with enterprise data or with the build data-driven applications, knowing Oracle SQL gives you a solid advantage. Before Diving into SQL queries and database objects, it's important to understand where all of this began, the story behind the SQL and the Oracle database itself. So here, let's go back to the 1970s. That's when SQL was first introduced as a way to interact with relational databases. And here it started as a part of a research project at IBM. And over the years, SQL grew into a universal language for data management. To make SQL usable across different platforms and tools, formal standards were developed first by American National Standards Institute and then by International Organization for Standardization. These standards ensured that the core syntax and the behavior of SQL remains consistent, no matter which data systems you are using, whether it's Oracle, MySQL, or SQL Server, or any other. In short, thanks to these standards, you can learn SQL once and apply it in many different environments with just few changes. Now let's talk about Oracle, one of the pioneers in the commercial database space. Oracle released its first commercial RDBMS in the year 1979, and it was the first to support SQL as a language. Over the years, Oracle kept innovating and adding advanced features like PL/SQL, a procedural extension to SQL, real application clusters, and the support for cloud databases. Today, Oracle is one of the most widely used enterprise databases across the globe, especially in industries that require high scalability, security, and reliability. So, understanding both the evolution of SQL standards and the Oracle journeys gives you a great foundation, not just to use the technology, but to appreciate why it is built the way it is today. Let's now take a closer look at the core components that make up the architecture of Oracle SQL. And these are the parts that work behind the scenes to process your queries. So, the first key component is SQL engine. You can think of the SQL engine as the brain of the SQL system. So here it is responsible for understanding and carrying out SQL commands. So whenever we write a query like select, insert, or update, the SQL engine is what interprets that and makes it happen. So here this handles how the data is retrieved, modified, and returned, and also ensures that this process is done smoothly between the database and the end user. So whenever you run a SQL query, it is the engine that reads it, breaks it, and makes sure the database delivers the right result. Next, we have the query processor, and this is where things get really intelligent. The query processor works like a smart strategist. Its job is to analyze the query and figure out the most efficient way to execute it. So the processor here evaluates different ways a query could be run and chooses the best possible plan, considering things like performance, memory, and the speed. This is especially important when dealing with large tables, joins, or the complex conditions. And it ensures that Oracle does not just execute the query, but does it in the smartest way possible. So in short, the query processor makes sure your queries don't just work, but they work fast and efficiently. Together, the SQL engine and query processor form the core of Oracle SQL's internal architecture, interpreting, optimizing, and executing queries to deliver the data that you require, that you need. Okay. Now, after understanding how Oracle SQL processes query, let's now shift our focus to how it stores and manages the actual data, which is equally important for performance and reliability. So let's start with table spaces and data files. In Oracle, table spaces are logical storage units. You can imagine them like folders that organize and group related data files together. This make it easier to manage different kinds of data separately. For example, user data, temporary data, or system data can be stored in different table spaces. Each table space is made up of one or more data files at the physical level. And these are the actual files that are stored on the disk. So you can think of table spaces as containers for managing storage efficiently, while the data files are where the actual bytes of data live. Next, let's talk about logical and physical structures. So Oracle separates how the data is stored logically versus physically. So the logical structures are what the user or developer interacts with: tables, indexes, views, etc. They help us organize data in a meaningful way. But underneath the logical structures, Oracle uses physical structures like data files, blocks, extents, and segments. These define how data is stored on disk. So while the logical structures focus on user interaction and data organization, the physical structures are about how the data is actually written and accessed on the storage device. So together, these layers ensure that Oracle manages storage efficiently while also giving developers and database administrators the flexibility to structure and retrieve data efficiently. The next section is about core SQL operations. And under the core SQL operations, we will be discussing about the basic statements as well as the advanced statements. So here the select statement in the SQL is used to get data from a database. So you can choose which columns you want to see. You can also filter the data to show only the information that you need. You can sort the results and you can limit how many rows you want to see. As you learn more, you can add simple calculations. You can use aliases to make your results clearer. For more advanced use, you can group data to get totals or averages. You can use the special rules to filter those groups. You can use subqueries, which will help you find results based on another query. You can take help of joins, which will allow you to pull data from more than one table at the same time. You also have a provision of using the CTEs, the common table expressions, which will help make long queries easier to read, and the window functions, which let you do things like rank rows or compare values across rows without changing the structure of your data. So learning these tools will help you work with data more easily and you will get better answers, the better results. In SQL, We have certain data manipulation commands. Data manipulation means making changes to the data in your tables. So for that, you can use the insert command to add new rows of data, update to change existing data, and delete to remove data from a table. When making several changes at once, it is a good idea to use a transaction. A transaction is a group of operations that run together. Either all of them happen or none at all. So this helps keep your data accurate and safe. If something goes wrong during the transaction, you can use a rollback to cancel the changes and go back to the way things were before. When everything is correct, you use commit to save the changes permanently. This way, you stay in control of your data and avoid mistakes. So thanks for watching this introduction to the Oracle SQL series. In the next video, we will dive deeper into core SQL operations like select, where, order by, and more, laying the foundation you need to work confidently with data.